All right, so we're assessing this unit right here for a brand new iFLO Pro. Now, what's great about this one, we have a lot of access to this and we have a lot of options as well. We have the option of using the saddle, and we can drill right into this line right here, this drain line, and connect there, and that would shoot the solution right up into the drain pan, because it's always the goal to get the solution into the drain pan. We have the open access, so we can actually put that there, but then you're only cleaning the drain lines. We don't want to do that. One of the other options is right here. We have a secondary opening for a drain line, or what you'd normally put your float switch in, or float switch on. We can go in through that also, but it's kind of out of the way. It's kind of blocked by a lot of stuff, so we don't want to do that. What I would rather do is mount the unit. We're going to actually put the hose directly into this cabinet and connect it directly to the drain pan, to the highest points of the drain pan. Now we know that we're getting all that bacteria from the very high points of the drain pan all the way out, and then all the way out of the drain line system, out of the house. So we know we've done a good job, and this will not get clogged up ever. All right, so now that we've looked this over, I could put the unit up here, but I don't really want it to be right on the face of this one. So right here, I think is going to be our best bet, off to the side, out of the way. It's going to allow us to get that drain line directly into the drain pan where it belongs. So to get started, first thing we got to do, we'll turn off the power, but then we're going to take this faceplate off and get to it. All right, so just like we assessed the outside, we want to assess the inside of the cabinet for the iFLO Pro as well. So we know we're putting it over there, and we're going to bring that hose in through here. Now we just have to figure out where the hose is going. One way you can do it is you can come right down here to this front pan right here. We actually have a clip that'll clip right onto there, and the hose can go there. You just make sure it's, 4 or 5 inches away from the end there so it doesn't splash out. That'll clean the front of the pan. The other way that you can do it is you can tee it off, or use a Y connector, and that will actually bring the hoses all the way to the back, and you put them at the high points of the pan. So it's now cleaning the pan all the way from the high points in the back, all the way through the front, and all the way out your system, cleaning everything along the way. To power up our device, which is a 24-volt device, I'm going to find where our 24-volt is connected from our primary transformer, which is typically a 40 VA. A factory 40 VA transformer is perfectly sufficient. Our unit runs at about 400 milliamps when it's actually dispensing, so it's very important to make sure where the control circuit transformer is and power our device off of that. So we're going to connect our device to RNC on our primary circuit board, which again is coming from the control circuit transformer. So RNC right here is what we're going to tap into. And of course, we're going to use blue for the common in this scenario. Pretty traditional in this industry. Obviously, make sure it's tight and there's no loose connections. Double check to make sure, none of the other wires came out as well. Now we're going to connect the red in the exact same way. All right, again, double check, make sure it's connected, it's tight, and we didn't loosen any other wires while we were working on this. Our 24-volt is now connected, and now we just have to connect the float switch wiring. All we're really trying to do is identify the load side of the last float switch. We've already identified this prior to this. I know this one right here is the one that I need to tap into. So this is the load side, or the lead that's running to the last float switch. To do this, I'm just going to use the existing wire nut. I'm just going to splice myself right into there and put that wire nut right back on. That's all that needs to be done. All it's really doing is intercepting that float switch signal. Now, we are not a float switch, and we do not have the ability to shut this system down. We're just intercepting the signal. All right, so here are the wires that we just wired in. One of the things we always want to do is make sure we have our mounting position in the right spot. So we want to know that these wires, this is your 24-volt, this is your float switch wire right here. They connect right here to the side. So we want to make sure that wherever we mount this, they're going to fit. So I'm going to mount this right about here. I'll put a little mark. There we go. Just put a little mark right on top right there so I know where that bracket goes. That's going to help me out as I mount this. All right, so there's my mark. I know where I'm mounting it. But one extra thing that I always like to do when I'm mounting directly to a cabinet like this is use a little foam tape on the back. Just prevents it from slipping around. It's a very slick surface. You probably won't have to do this if you're mounting it to a stud or drywall or something like that. But in this case, I'm going to go that extra step just to be safe. And now all I've got to do, I've got my self-tapper right here, line her right up. And I don't want to go in all the way too fast. What I want to do is get it started, get it through the cabinet. So I've got it in there, but what I want to do before I really cinch it down is I want to make sure the bubble is good and level. You notice there is a bubble right there on the bracket itself. So now I can cinch it down. And there you go. Bubble's nice and level, it's good and tight. We're ready to mount our device. For that, it's as simple as just sliding it on. And since we already know where we're attaching these wires, go ahead and attach those right to their points. So before running the hoses and tubes and everything on our system, one of the things that we did in our assessment was find out there was still some actual Zuglia, a fairly significant amount within the drain pan. So we've done a full flush, as we always recommend. You want to flush out the system, get it good and clean. One of the ways you can do that is with our clean and prep. Now this only takes about 2 ounces. You just squirt it right there into the high point of the drain pan and let it roll through the drain and right out just with the along with the condensate. It's that easy. It's even marked on the back so you know exactly how much you've used. You want to and that you've truly gotten in that full 2 ounces of product into there. That's going to prep your system and make sure it's ready. Help to prevent any of those clogs along the way. All right, so we've got to get this hose into the cabinet. For this, I like to use a step bit. I already marked my spot. This is where I'm going to go in. So let's give it a shot here. Take it easy if you're using a step bit. You don't want to, go too far. And test along the way. So that's a little bit not quite there yet. I'm going to test that one out just to see if it's big enough yet. I think we've got one more step to go. And now we're going to put this grommet in. We want to make sure we have a really good tight seal on that grommet. And for this hose to go in, we don't want it, ripping it over time. And there you go. All right, so we've made our access into the cabinet. Now there is another option that's in the kit. It's this piece right here, this little L bracket. And if you weren't using the grommet, all you do is you put that through the hole, you screw this in from the other side, connect to there, and then connect to this on the inside. I really like this a lot if it's in an area that gets a lot of traffic, that somebody might pull on this, because it means it's completely disconnected from the inside, so you don't have to worry about them pulling the hose off of something on the inside if you use this. But in this case, we're going with just the grommet because obviously this is not in a place that, that people can bump it and have that problem. All right, so we've got it in, we've got the grommet in place. I want to go ahead and pull this all the way through. You want to pull it through. You don't want it to be super tight. You want to be able to kind of slide this on and off a little bit, but you also want to make sure that it's continuous downward slope right here. This is a gravity fed system, so just make sure that you got a little bit loose, but there's no kinks in that line. All right, so we actually are going to tee this off so we can go to multiple areas, but I want to show you one other way that we can do this, and it's with this clip right here. It comes in your kit. Now, if you can't tee it off and get the hoses all the way to the back, what I recommend is you use this little clip right here. You clip it right here to the front of your drain pan, and that holds that in place. Make sure that the end of this hose is 4 or 5 inches away from the end there so it doesn't splash out. And that's what you would do there. Now, in this case though, what I'm doing is I'm going to tee this off, or actually I'm going to Y it off, so that I can actually run these hoses to both sides of this coil. That's going to give me the best cleaning of this system. For this side, I've shoved this right here in the channel, that drain channel, all the way to the back, and then again, pull it back about 4 to 5 inches because it's going to shoot out of the end of that one. This is the line that we brought in from the outside, and we want to connect to that. So I'm going to come behind all this. I like to connect as high as I can. So I need to connect this right about here. Keep in mind, it's gravity fed. You always want that downward slope. So I'm going to cut my line. This is the feed line right here. I'm going to cut that right there. Now I'm going to take my Y connector, connect it into my feed line from the outside right here. And I'm going to connect it right here to this line that's going, again, underneath that channel right there all the way to the back. Make sure it's good and snug. And then I've also got this line that I've already fed to the back of the other side right there. And I want to come up behind everything. I don't want to get pinched by the door, when the door shuts or anything. So I'm going to bring it right up through there, connect it to the T, or in this case, to the Y. And you can see now, as this solution comes in, it's going to come in through here. Again, always a downward slope. And now it's going to branch off and go to both sides of this coil. So now we're cleaning from all the way to the back, the very back, the high points of the pan, all the way to the front, and then all the way out of the system. Now this runs directly off the 24 volt that we wired in earlier. These batteries, they're backup. Power goes out or whatever, you don't have to worry about it. All right, at this point, all that's left is actually just registering it within the app. The app will walk you through everything. One big tip, get the Wi-Fi password and name from the customer first. It's going to make the process a whole lot easier while you're setting up, because this will be connected to their Wi-Fi. Then you're going to register the bottle simply by taking a picture right into the app. It's going to say, okay, now put the bottle on, and it's going to double check to make sure that that bottle is seated properly and that everything is ready to dispense. Once you've installed the cartridge, it's going to give you an indication that yes, it was installed correctly and set up a dispense schedule for you. One of the other things it's going to do is it's going to have you take pictures of your work. This is going to be helpful in the future if there are ever any issues at all. Now you want to enable your float switch. We did set that up, so it's going to do that. Not only is it going to enable it, but it's going to double check that you wired it properly and give you an indication that everything is good to go. Okay, you're pretty much done now, but you can choose to share this with your customer as well, so they can monitor also. It's totally up to you. Either way, you will be able to monitor this within the app for every single unit that you've installed. You'll be able to tell if the bottle is full, if it's empty, how many dispensers are left, what is the dispense schedule, all the information you're going to need to properly monitor and maintain all of your customer systems.